Hey everybody, so how are we doing today? So here we go with another Iran story. Iran says it seized British tanker, denies US brought down drone. Of course they do. This one is from Reuters, and it says Iran's Revolutionary Guards, said they seized a British oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz on Friday, while Tehran and Washington disagreed about a U.S. assertion that its Navy had downed an Iranian drone nearby, further increasing tensions in the Gulf region. Britain said it was urgently seeking information about the Stena Impero tanker, which had been heading to a port in Saudi Arabia, and suddenly changed course after passing through the strait at the mouth of the Gulf. Iran's state news agency, IRNA, quoted a military source as saying the vessel had turned off its tracker, ignored warnings from the Revolutionary Guards, and was sailing in the wrong direction in a shipping lane. A second oil tanker the British operated Liberian-flagged Mesdar turned sharply north towards Iran's coast on Friday afternoon after passing westward through the Strait of Hormuz into the Gulf, according to Refinitiv tracking data. Well, I mean, if they have the tracking data, then the ship did turn toward their coast, which they did not have permission to do so. It just suddenly turned, and then the Stena Impero just suddenly turns off its tracker, ignores everything. Man, this case is weird. Like, truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm not necessarily saying that Iran is absolutely telling the truth, but if they are, then this is absolutely bizarre. No reason. I don't get this. And if they were lying, then why would they think that a lie like this would work? It's too weird, too obvious. Something more has to be going on here. Too weird. British Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt said he was extremely concerned. It is essential that freedom of navigation is maintained and that all ships can move safely and freely in the region, Hunt said ahead of a national security meeting on the issue. Relations between Iran and the West have been increasingly strained in recent months over security in the Gulf. U.S. sanctions on Iran and Tehran's nuclear program. Military incidents in the Gulf have increased international concern that both sides could blunder into war in the strategic waterway, which is vital to world oil supplies. Oil prices gained on Friday, trading above a $62 a barrel after the latest spike in tensions along the waterway. Iran shot down a U.S. drone in the Gulf in June, and British naval forces seized an Iranian tanker in Gibraltar on July 4th on suspicion of smuggling oil to Syria. Iran and the United States were at odds on Friday over a U.S. assertion that its Navy had shot down an Iranian drone on Thursday in the Strait of Hormuz because it had come too close to a U.S. warship. Yes, because ships need body autonomy and they don't like it when their space is being violated. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. But seriously, Iran shot down the U.S. drone. We shot down the Iranian drone. Now they're saying it didn't happen. Yeah, shit's just getting weird over there. A serious investigation needs to be handled because this shit's getting weird. Now they're saying ships are just randomly turning toward their shore for no reason. I mean, come on, something obviously is up. No doubt. U.S. President Donald Trump said there was no doubt the U.S. Navy warship Boxer had destroyed an Iranian drone, but Tehran showed video footage that it said disproved the incident even happened. No doubt about it. No, we shot it down, Trump said. So more like, no doubt about it. We shot it down. We are the best at shooting things down. No one shoots things down better than America. Anyway. My fixation on impressions aside. I would really be interested in seeing this supposed video footage that Tehran has to offer. I would love to see it, absolutely. I demand to see it. Speaking about Iran, he said that the United States hopes for their sake that they don't do anything foolish. If they do, they will pay a price like nobody has ever paid a price. Trump announced on Thursday that the Boxer, an amphibious assault ship, had destroyed an Iranian drone because it had flown to within 1,000 yards, 914 meters of the ship, in a provocative and hostile action. A U.S. official said the drone was brought down by electronic jamming. Amphibious assault ship. Now I'm just imagining a ship that sails up to a shore, and then a couple of mechanical legs pop out and starts walking on land. That would actually be really cool and really terrifying all at once. Or really silly. It depends on how you look at it. Of course, enough about my diseased imagination. But Iran said all of its drones were accounted for. All drones belonging to Iran in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz returned safely to their bases after their mission of identification and control. Abulfazl Shikarshi, a senior Iranian armed forces spokesman, was quoted by the semi-official Tasnim news agency as saying, he said there was no report of operational response by the Boxer in Iran's state television broadcast. A video showing aerial views of ships that it said disproved the U.S. assertion. The television station said the footage, which came from Iran's Revolutionary Guards, and the timing notations indicated the pilotless aircraft was still filming after Washington said it had been downed. Timing notations can be edited. And wouldn't it be funny if we fished the drone out of the water, present it to the Iranians, and they said, they'd be like sweating and gritting their teeth, be like, "Oh, you mean that drone? Yes." You know, that would be hilarious. This episode is the latest test of nerves around the Strait of Hormuz, a major choke point for oil tankers. Relations between Washington and Tehran worsened last year when Trump abandoned the 2015 nuclear deal between world powers and Iran. Okay, we already know about that. Trump said he would talk to Britain about the report of the British tanker being seized in the Gulf. Faltering at diplomacy. The United States has blamed Iran for a series of attacks since mid-May on shipping around the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran rejects the allegations. The United States has reimposed economic sanctions to throttle Iran's... I lost track of where I was reading. Shit. Throttle Iran's oil trade and pressure Tehran to renegotiate the nuclear accord, according to its ballistic missiles, and modify its regional policies. Tehran on Thursday signaled a willingness to engage in diplomacy with a modest offer on its nuclear work. Ratification... Yeah. This is all familiar stuff it's talking about. It's talking here about Mohammad Javad Zarif and his big visit where he was curbed and curtailed. And basically him calling it inhuman, which I imagine is probably to some extent an exaggeration. Man, I'm telling you, this whole situation with those British ships just randomly turning and heading straight to the coast, really weird, isn't it? Even if it didn't happen, the tracking device did suddenly switch off. Now, why would they do that? There's all sorts of strange things going on over there in the Gulf of Hormuz, and it deserves a very serious, or maybe it's Hormuz. Doesn't matter, does it? The point is, it needs a serious investigation, because this is some weird-ass shit. I mean it. We should investigate it heavily. Maybe we eventually find out the truth. But, as I like to say, truth is often stranger than fiction. Anyway.